There's so many franchises I haven't played, which is one of the reasons why I even started this channel, to play games from the past that I haven't played to see if they hold up today. And Metal Gear Solid is one of the big ones. On top of that, I have a bad case of the FOMOs. Metal Gear Solid fans who love the series, and sure, like most franchises, it's had its ups and downs, but they're still loyal to the T. I've never played any of them, but I want to change that today. I want to know what's all the fuss about. What makes it great? I want to understand why this game is loved by so many, and see if it holds up today. I am going in with super high expectations because of everything I've heard. I mean, it did launch the career of that one guy that Jeff Keighley keeps bringing up on stage in every single one of his shows.
I am talking about Hideo Kojima.
Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima. Mr. Hideo Kojima! Industry icon. Hideo Kojima!
Oh, wait. Huh? There's Kojima, look.
Join me in welcoming back to the Game Awards a true legend, Mr. Hideo Kojima!
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Kojima, I know you're a legend, I bow to you, you're the shit, I'm just joking. This game is considered one of the greatest and most influential games of all time, revolutionizing the stealth genre and being way ahead of its time. We are getting close to this game being 30 years old, so I think it's time I finally check it out. So join me as I take a look at Metal Gear Solid. Even trying to figure out what version of the game to play was complicated. With so many re-releases and remakes, it got overwhelming fast, not to mention the original Nintendo games. But I stuck to the OG, the original PS1 version. Released in 1998, written and directed by the legendary, awesome, fantastic Hideo Kojima.
Oh yeah.
Metal Gear Solid follows Solid Snake, who is sent on a mission to stop renegade special forces Foxhound, who's threatening to use their nuclear weapon, Mecha Metal Gear Rex, if they don't receive
$100 billion.
They also want the remains of their founder, Big Boss, who Solid Snake took out, who just so happens to be Snake's genetic father since he's a clone of him. So is Liquid Snake, who thinks he's a lesser clone but is actually the better one, and then they all turn out to be clones. And you got the Colonel and his ass-shaking niece Meryl, who every time Snake said her name made me think of an old rundown version of the Pokemon. These two start hitting it off, and I was trying to think, I don't remember Snake ever having a girlfriend before.
Meryl, get down! Meryl!
Oh, I guess he still doesn't. And then there's a traitor, Naomi, who I'm not sure if she's trying to hurt or help because there's this virus called the Fox Dye that she injected Snake with. So there's people dropping dead around him, and then you got this other ninja guy who Naomi has beef with, who's also kind of in the way, but also kind of helping. And then there's Omnicon, who's an otaku and a sim for this one lady because she likes doggies. And Mei Ling, who's really into Confucius and who's also an angel because she helps you save the game. And then at the end of the game, Snake changes his name to David. Like, who the f is David?
David. My name's David.
Listen, the story gets kind of crazy, and there's so many characters involved, and I think as the series goes on, they like retcon things that I don't even know about yet. There are a ton of great YouTube videos going in depth of the story and what it all means, and the who and the why and the why because, and I'm just way too dumb to get into all that right now, plus I'm terrified of saying anything wrong, which I feel like I already did. So feel free to correct me and yell at me down in the comments, but if you've never played this before, all you really need to know is that Snake needs to stop the big boom boom from happening when there's people and stuff in the way. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing the story because it sucks. It is really good. New stuff keeps popping up and revelations and twists and turns along the way. It almost gets to the point where it feels to be too much, but I like it. It has a telenovela feel to it.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive.
But really, the creativity and the ingenuity and the out-of-the-box thinking, pun kinda intended, is really what makes this game stand out. The lengths that it goes to break the fourth wall and really make you, the person, a part of the game is insane. This game is very cinematic and dramatic. Kojima's vision is super unique, and after playing this first game, it's like, I get it. I get the praise. I understand why everybody bows to him, on this game alone. I'm very surprised that he's never directed a film before. I know that they're working on the Death Stranding film, but I think he stuck around to video games maybe because he felt like he was limited with the movies. In the games, he's just able to do whatever he can think of, literally. And also, if he really wants to, and he has, he can do a 4-hour movie just straight up with the cutscenes. This game has very, very long cutscenes, and most of the interactions are interesting when they aren't explaining how ladders work.
Snake, if you want to go up or down a ladder, just press the action button by the ladder.
This game brilliantly showcases Kojima's style and how his brain works. It's very innovative and feels fresh even today. And I love these nuggets of his sense of humor that pop in. I just wasn't expecting it, like some guy's naked blurry asshole. How Kojima writes characters is so interesting. It's like there's always something more to them. Each and every character feels like they're keeping a secret, but to be fair, most of them are. But they're not just sitting there. They all feel fleshed out with their own purposes and agendas and lives even. The game has timeless voice acting. Usually old games' voice acting doesn't hold up very well.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
But in the case of Metal Gear Solid, it's some of the best work that I've experienced in my opinion, all time. It's definitely ahead of its time, and I think it would even stand out today. Yeah, sure, there are some instances of cheese and going overboard, especially when you die. But the performances are exactly what each character needs to feel real. And it's not too shabby that the cast is a bunch of sexy polygon ladies. Which was another thing. I didn't know that Snake/David had so much Rizz.
So there's something you like about me, huh?
Yeah, you've got a great butt.
He would have been definitely forced to watch a sexual harassment at the workplace video today for sure, but Snake/David is actually pretty cool. You know what, I was going to keep doing this David bit, but it just doesn't feel right to call him David. I feel icky, I don't like it. There's a shiver that goes down my spine. I don't like it. Snake is such a 90s action hero, which makes sense since he's based off of Snake Plissken from the movie Escape from New York. Kojima even offered Kurt Russell the voiceover role, but he turned it down because he didn't want to play something similar to one of his past roles. All respect to Kurt Russell, I'm sure he would have killed it, but David Hayter is awesome and his performance really made Snake an icon. He's dark and mysterious, but then he'll have these bursts of intensity that really show more of his personality. The music embodies the genre so well, especially during fights and like high octane moments. I think it's the same tune for most of the game, but it's so good it doesn't feel repetitive or annoying at any point. And even more iconic than the music itself are the sound effects, the screaming when people are getting shot, the screaming when you die, the beeping of the incoming call, and most iconic sound effect of them all is the gotcha sound. It's so unique and clearly what it is. When you hear that, you know what that means. I just got found. It's great, but the gamer in me is very sad that nowadays has been reduced to an overused TikTok sound effect. There's so much more good about this game that I'm going to get into a little bit more, but I have to be honest. Even with me able to recognize how amazing this game is, I just struggled with gelling with this game. Kojima's vision is so unique, I was never able to get the right feel with the gameplay. I struggled with this game a lot. The map is so vital for newbies, it's your best friend, and they know that it is. So they jam it a lot. And the camera angles are close enough that it makes the map super important. And the game plays with perception a lot too. You can go into first person mode and see what's in front of you. Most games that have this feature back in the day, it's just like an option to look at shit. Like it's fun. Yeah, you go in first person mode, you look around, okay, yeah, it's cute, let's keep playing. Like you'll be in the tutorial and you'll be like, oh, press this button to go in first person mode, and you do it, and then you'll probably never do it ever again. Well, here, it's actually used to see what the hell's going on. The first person mode isn't decoration as I've been taking it as for the past 30 years of my gaming career. So I'm not accustomed to using the first person mode as a useful mechanic, like these lasers for example. My brain was processing them as moving up the room, like forward, not up and down. So I couldn't understand why I couldn't get past them until I went into first person mode and actually saw my problem, that I'm stupid. They're going up and down. I really love the different weapons, the scanners, the gadgets, the bombs, the iconic box of course. But it also can be a bit annoying when items that shouldn't be equipable need to be equipped, like keycards. You're getting keycards throughout the entire game that you have to switch to unlock doors. It's just like, just unlock the door for me, you know, especially when there's poisonous gases in the room and you have to switch from masks to the card. That just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why can't I have both? And with me struggling, it's not like I didn't understand what to do. It's that the game would do things that make simple tasks feel harder than they should be. And maybe the remasters changed that, I don't know. Maybe it's better than Twin Snakes, I don't know. Maybe it's worse, for sure, let me know down in the comments. But these little things piled up and they almost had me quitting. For example, the aiming I felt to be pretty brutal. You know, I would be in front of fools and completely miss. And I can admit if it's me and I suck, that's fine. But regardless, my experience was still frustrating. Especially in the staircase part where you have to be pretty flawless to get by. One wrong move and you're dead. And it's just so long, it feels like it goes on forever. I did end up getting to the top a couple times, but they would catch up to me and kill me. Little things like this that should be easy for some reason took me hours, until I was told to cheese it. So I did. Apparently there's a secret way to be able to move and shoot at the same time by pressing both square and X at the same time. I didn't do that, and that would have been nice to know. Out of all these stupid calls, if somebody would have told me that, would have been nice. Going in, I thought regular enemies were just going to be big dumb dipshits because, I mean, this is a PS1 game, so how smart could they be? Well, they're smarter than me apparently. And way smarter than any enemy AI today. They see footprints and decide to go investigate, they react to noise, and they also kind of do normal shit like go take a piss. There's really no excuse for enemy AI of games today to be so stupid. You be in front of them and they don't even react. Like, come on, what are we doing? Are we seriously going backwards? The boss fights, go without saying, are probably all-time fights. You know, the setup, the scenario, the fight themselves. Each boss has their own specific way to get beaten, or figure out a way to cheese them whenever you get desperate, which you probably will. The game really does give you the tools to win, you just have to figure out how to use them properly. And it's so unique that what you think won't work because it wouldn't work in past games definitely does work here. And to the game's credit, it literally does tell you what you need to do to beat it. But like I said, I just struggled with executing those exact steps. The first big one I struggled with was probably where most people struggled with for the first time, is the ninja fight. Once you beat him, the fight is so crazy that you come to appreciate that fight for what it is. They're not all terribly difficult, some are pretty easy like Sniper Wolf. But even in that fight, the game does little things that really get in the way of itself, like you really have to follow its rules. For example, while you're using the sniper scope, whenever you get hit, he moves around so much that you lose track of where the hell you even were. And I understand the realism, if you get shot, you're gonna move and squirm, like you're not just gonna sit there and take it. But if someone could, it would be Solid Snake. It just disorients you so much that by the time you regroup and find her again, you get shot again. Plus, I totally hit her here, that was total bullshit and cheating. Also, this was kind of dumb in my opinion, ditching Meryl to run all the way across what felt like the entirety of the game to backtrack to fetch a sniper does not only horrendously break up the pace of the game, but it actually makes no sense. It's like, oh, what, you're dying? Okay, hold on, I'll be back in about 20 minutes. So it's little things like this that really made me suck, but at the weirdest fights. Psycho Mantis was considered one of the toughest bosses in the entirety of the series. I didn't even think was that bad. I enjoyed that fight, that was kind of cool. Like, the fight I struggled with the most for some reason was the fight versus the Hind. Because again, the little things. You can't just hit them as much as you want. It has to be a specific time whenever the game wants it to. Or while you're looking down the missile scope, if you hold it for a little bit too long, it won't let you switch weapons to run away, so you end up getting hit. I don't know what my problem was, but for some reason this fight owned the hell out of me. I mean, it got so bad that I thought of quitting, for reals. And before you say it, I know, it's not even one of the toughest fights. I know, I get it. I don't know what the hell my problem was. And what's annoying is that you have this feeling of you can beat it. But I don't know if it's just the controls, or like I said, I didn't gel well with the game, and certain designs of certain things just doesn't help. It just feels like there's always some little thing that gets in the way that causes a big problem. Or you're very close to even beating them, and then they throw another curveball at you, like adding another move to the pattern that you didn't see before. But even with all that, when the creativity hits, oh boy does it hit. Like using the cigarettes to see the lasers, the communicator and its different frequencies. This game basically has a cell phone with FaceTime in a game from 1998. They do call you a lot, so I did wish I could put it on airplane mode sometimes, but the idea and how pivotal that little equipment is to the storytelling is just so good. Other ideas like giving you crazy hints, like using the box art for a frequency.
Oh, that's right. It should be on the back of the CD case. Try to contact her.
Well, would you look at that? Having to switch the controller ports for Psycho Mantis because he knows your every mood while still shutting off the Hideo feed. After he moves your controller in real life with telepathy and calls you a bitch because he knows your playstyle. Putting the controller on your arm to get a shot.
Snake, put the controller up against your arm.
What?
Don't worry, it'll feel good.
Huh?
Okay, here I go. How does that feel, Snake? A little better?
How did you do that?
I stimulated your muscle fibers with the nanomachine cilia.
The game knowing what your last save time and how long it's been and using that as a torture tactic. This game just stares at the fourth wall and is like, what wall? These ideas did not come from a normal person, came from a true genius. It's so innovative, even by today's standards, that it just finds a place in your brain to stick there and be memorable. These ideas and the specific attention to detail, I think, are what made an imprint on fans. The world it created and involving the real world into that created world is just a stroke of genius. It just forms some sort of subconscious bond between you and the game. And it has people playing it over and over and over again, discovering more and more secrets even today. Like in the Mantis fight, you can shoot the faces off these statues and he becomes beatable without switching the ports. Like the final mission, the escape route. This isn't even that crazy, but like today's standards, but it's an on-rail segment. But it just feels generations ahead of its time before it became a common practice like in the PS2 era. We're talking 2 generations after. Story-wise, like I said, it does get very juicy at the end, revealing even more shit. And there are 2 endings that are determined by one simple sequence. I was surprised because you would think with so many crazy ideas and how wild they are, you would think they'd be tougher to get, but it's all based on how you deal with the Ocelot torture sequence. If you tap like a crazy son of a bitch and don't quit and resist the torture, Meryl lives and you get the good ending. But if you quit like a bitch, Meryl dies and you end up escaping with Otacon. Canonically, the good ending is the real ending. That's really the story that they continue with, Meryl being alive and whatnot. Plus, what's Metal Gear Solid without Caribou?
What are those?
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
Is Metal Gear Solid worth playing today? I definitely think it is. It's worth appreciating and understanding, and to do that, you really need to play it. Even me telling you what the hell they did just doesn't suffice. But I also know that it might be frustrating for first timers. The same thing that pissed me off or that I struggle with might not even be a problem for you, but I feel like something will. The controls and how some of the things work definitely didn't age well, but I think it's all worth pushing through to get to the other side, even if it is through any of the countless remakes and reboots. The fourth wall breaking, the characters, the story, the endless creativity, it's just, this game is worth experiencing one way or the other. And I understand it might not be everyone's cup of tea due to how unique it is, and I get that. It is so unique it's impossible to replicate by anyone else. That's probably the main reason why Konami just keeps pumping the same shit with remakes and reboots, because they know and wouldn't dare to release anything without Kojima. I would think they learned their lesson the first time. But those are my thoughts about Metal Gear Solid. Let me know yours down in the comments. If you played it recently for the first time, what did you think of it? If you played it back then, what are your nostalgia feelings on the game? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Would you like to see a video on Metal Gear Solid 2? Any and all Metal Gear thoughts, let them fly down in the comments. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like for me and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you.